This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where we broadcast Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. for your listening. And that is Central Standard Time. This is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. We encourage you to get involved in the conversation, and you can do so by dialing 347-857-3958. Again, that number to our studio is 347-857-3958. Irv?
Yes, sir.
It is Friday.
It is Friday.
You know, one thing I'm glad about this Soapbox Friday thing that you've started?
Yeah, what's that, man?
Is that I think it's really genius.
Yeah.
You complain at the end of the week, going into the weekend,
Right.
not starting the week
Right.
with those complaints.
That's right.
I think that's genius.
Thank you for that, man.
I really do.
You know, because it's something I've practiced, and it really does save the beginning of the week.
Well, it does. And you know, no matter how bad things are, you always want to start the beginning of the week on a positive note.
Right.
And then when you finish the week and you've had a bad day, I guess Friday is as good a day as any to complain a little bit about it.
Well, I don't want to take that into my weekend.
Well, you got to leave it right here in this studio.
I leave it right here, man.
Well, now is your time. It is Friday.
It is Soapbox Friday.
Are you standing on a soapbox?
I am
today?
on a soapbox, man.
So I'm thinking that, you know, I thought that I'd probably have one Friday where I missed you on a soapbox, but I guess today isn't that Friday. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's getting you now?
You know what's me? You're not going to believe it.
What is
The
it?
soapbox, my soapbox this Friday, folks, is potato chip bags. What is going on? Have you ever gotten an empty potato chip bag?
I've never gotten an empty one, but I have gotten one with like 4 or 5 chips in it.
That's empty, John. that is
where it's
empty.
full of air.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but okay, I like potato chips, especially when I'm watching football. All right, now that's when they're really, really good. Is when you're watching a football game.
Primarily.
And of course, we're broadcasting live here from Houston, Texas. And so, those of you who are around the country, you're not here. But you know, I like to eat potato chips when I'm watching the game. And here's the thing: I've run across bags with nothing more than 2 or 3 chips in them. And these things are $2, $3, $4, sometimes $5 a bag.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on with these? Somebody, you know, I think that's quality control. It's got to be quality control. Don't tell me, with all the technology we have, you can't tell that bag was empty.
Absolutely.
And so when I started to think about the thousands upon thousands, if not millions of bags of chips that go out, somebody's going to tell me, well, it's a very small percentage of bags that go out with some or no product in it.
Now, it's from my understanding, I heard once that if you complained to whomever it is that you're buying the chips from, that they would replace the bag.
Well, I think they should replace the bag.
Especially at that price.
See where I'm from, John, you know what that's called?
What's that?
Robbery.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because I've paid my couple of bucks, you know, expecting to get some chips. I'm not expecting 2.
You've been gangstered out of your
I've
chips.
been gangstered. I've been hoodwinked.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I mean, you have really started something with this, because Stephen K. came in today and said that he even had something.
I have a soapbox.
Oh, my God.
What's your soapbox, Stephen?
My soapbox is on conversational courtesy.
Conversational courtesy.
Yeah. I have a lot of people that I communicate it through various means.
Sure.
And one of the things that have been driving me crazy lately is when I'm having a conversation via text message.
Oh, boy.
People are in the middle of a conversation, and all of a sudden, they'll just stop talking to you. I'll ask them a question. I'll wait a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no response. Oh, I just got busy. Now imagine if we're face to face and we're having a chat, and I ask you a question, would you just turn around and walk out of the room?
Exactly. No, you would not.
You wouldn't do that. So the communication method shouldn't matter. Conversational courtesy should be consistent.
Now,
I agree.
With that being said, next time I'm walking into church, I'm not going to just abruptly end my text conversation. I'm at least going to have the courtesy to say, "Hey, in church, preacher's looking. Get with you later."
Yeah, say goodbye. Say
That's
something. Don't leave me hanging there.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for your response.
That's right. Put on there GTR. Gotta run. Bye.
Well, I tell you what. Enough of that. Let's talk about something that at least makes these guys feel good, and that is business. We're going to talk about.
Oh no! Wait, John. You think you're gonna get to this without a soapbox?
I was having too much fun.
That's right.
I don't have anything to complain about yet.
John.
Yeah,
Okay.
generally in the middle of the show, my mind starts thinking about.
Yeah, you
things.
roll up on your
then
soapbox.
it'll hit me like a Mack truck.
Well, you know what? It's Friday, and if you roll up on your soapbox, it's okay.
Well, I'll keep that in mind as we proceed.
This soapbox Friday, but we're gonna move on.
Today, we're talking about building your brand and why that's important for a small business person. And I know that's one of the things, Irv, that many small business people don't really associate with any level or modicum of success.
That's right.
Because when we think about it, when we think brand, what are some of the first things that come to your mind?
Yeah, one of the first things that comes to my mind when I think about brand is how you present yourself.
Okay.
You know, how does your
But no, I mean in terms of companies.
Oh, yeah,
when
like
you hear
McDonald's.
the word exactly. I don't know why that is the first thing that came
it's
into my mind
McDonald's.
as
It's
well.
golden arches.
That's right. So when we think brand, even from a small business standpoint, the first thing that jumps into our mind is generally some huge multinational conglomerate,
right?
That spends hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, maintaining and protecting that brand.
It's the Nike swoosh.
That's right. We don't associate it with our small business.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you something. Brand may not have been as important 20 years ago to small business people as it is today.
Right.
Because 20 years ago, we didn't have the ability to communicate as quickly. There wasn't a flow of information as quickly as it is today. And
That's
so
true.
now, even brand on the smallest level has to be protected. It has to be thought about. It has to be managed, and it has to be carefully planned and grown.
Right.
And your brand is very, very important to you. And if you don't believe it is, do something ridiculous to where you anger a customer.
Yeah.
Or like the small bus company here in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
that small bus company picked up a student that was not supposed to be on that particular bus,
Right.
dropped that student, or forced that student off the bus at a stop that was not that student's home. That little kid was still, 15, 20 blocks from her home.
Wow.
And now look at how the repercussions, they've lost contracts, that bus driver got fired. They've been emblazoned all over the news. And now that name, and at least in this particular city, has been damaged by that.
Oh, no doubt.
So brand is important. And we're going to talk a little bit today about the things that you should think about as you produce, protect, and advance your brand.
Right. John, while we're talking about that, how strong is your brand when your company name can be used in place of a function?
Give me for an example.
For an example, if I tell you, hey, make me a Xerox of this.
Absolutely. Not make me a copy.
Not make me a copy.
I love it.
Make me a Xerox.
I love it. Or, you know what? I want to have a Coke. Well, then I go get you a Coke. No. I wanted strawberry.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. You said you wanted a Coke.
You're right. That's right.
So, but that's just the generalized name for soda.
That's exactly right.
I see what you mean.
And it's so powerful when someone brands themselves to the point that now their name is synonymous with a particular function or even a noun.
Yeah.
Where it just literally replaces what the name of that thing is or that action is. I'm reminded of years ago, we had really built our company and branded ourselves building an SBA loan portfolio.
Okay.
And what was really interesting is I started to hear it around just in the city in the course of conversations because, of course, we had lots of consultants that were around. Were all independent consultants, but it was interesting how under our umbrella, they would literally say, hey, I would hear business people talking to other business people, and they would say, well, hey, why don't you get one of those covenant capital loans? And it was really interesting because those were SBA loans.
But I guess your style of doing it, the success in which you must have had in your approval rating,
right,
all became a covenant capital loan.
That's correct.
I love that.
And so all of a sudden it wasn't an SBA loan anymore.
Right.
And even when people, and we had a really great default rate because it was like under 1%. But even in the few cases where people got into trouble, we would get the paperwork instead of the SBA getting the paperwork saying, well, this person filed bankruptcy or they're looking for bankruptcy protection or what have you. And they would send us the paperwork as if we were the direct lender at the time, and we were not the direct lenders because, we were selling the paper, right? So we wasn't the direct lender. It was really interesting.
Well, I think that basically proves our point here, Irv.
Right.
When your brand becomes something, when it the way it's received by your marketplace. And we're going to get into all of this as we move later into the hour, but those are the things we want you to think about. What have you become known for? And just like Covenant Capital had become known for producing a type of loan that served the need in the community,
that's correct,
that had a high level of approvability,
right? And
so now it was no longer called what it really was called.
Right.
It was referred to under the moniker under which you guys did business.
That's exactly right.
That's building a brand. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, so you guys stay with us. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, which is brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the publication that is for and about Houston's entrepreneurs. If you'd like to see exactly who the movers and shakers are in this city, go to our website, www.smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. Put in your information. We'll send you one each and every month to your email inbox at no charge to you. More in a moment on Building Your Brand with John Cruz and Irv Hughes. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
The storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Cosmos Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. It is Friday. If you're listening, and if you're just joining in, you've missed the soapbox, and the soapbox was full today. It had two people standing on it. Stephen K., our producer, even jumped on and followed suit behind Irv. So you can listen to this rebroadcast if you want to hear what they were griping about today. But nonetheless, from a business standpoint, we're talking about building your brand.
Right.
And is brand important to a small business? And my vote is yes, it's critically important because essentially brand is reputation.
That's right.
Brand is what you are known for.
Right.
And it's essentially important for you to build that brand, protect that brand, so that your brand means something positive in the marketplace. And as we said in the first segment, that maybe 20 years ago, a brand for a small business wasn't as important as it is now.
Sure.
Because with the advent of Google, I could Google your business.
That's right.
And I got to tell you this story. I had a client that we had gotten a commercial loan for. Up front, we would have the clients agree to the percentage of which that we charged.
Of course.
And on this particular client's transaction, they were going to pay 10% of whatever funds we were able to get for them because of the work associated, the forms and documents and spreadsheets we had to put together.
Right.
And they agreed. They signed a document saying that hey, we'll pay the 10%, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to secure them somewhere in the neighborhood of about $300,000.
Okay.
And they decided that they only asked for about 75.
Okay.
So they went ahead and they took the first 50,000.
Okay.
And before they would take the second 25, actually they had plans on taking the whole thing. They came back and tried to renegotiate with us and say, well, look, we'll pay you 10% on the first 50, and then we'll reduce that amount on the second 200,000 or whatever they wanted to take.
Okay. Because it was tiered.
Yeah, it was tiered.
Sure.
And so the thing is, we said no.
You should have said no.
We said no. This is what you agreed upon. This is what we secured for you. Take as much of it as you want. We only charge you for the amount you accept.
Correct.
They accepted the 50, paid the 10 points to us, which was $5,000.
Sure.
Then went on to this website, and it was something scam or something. I can't even remember what the website was. But anyway, they typed in how we just did them in and did them dirty.
Right.
Now, if you checked our company record with the Better Business Bureau, because they did make a complaint with the Better Business Bureau, but once we showed our documents to the Better Business Bureau, this is what they agreed to pay. This is what we did. They said, okay, well, you really don't have a complaint here.
Right.
And however, for the next 2 years, we had to continue answering for that one transaction.
Right.
That one person went on this website, because if you Googled our company name, rip-off report, that's what it was.
Yeah, I remember them.
That's what came up. And so then I would have to tell my associates that this is how you get over that. Let them know that we do loans nationwide. We probably do somewhere in the neighborhood of about 80 to 125 loans a month. This is one client that was upset, and this is what happened. So my point is that in the time that we live in now, Irv, I really believe that brand is very, very important, and you have to go through great lengths to protect that brand, which means that if someone does put something on a website, if someone does put something out at the Better Business Bureau level, it's not just the people in your immediate city that are going to see it. It's people all over the world if they Google your business name in your area.
That is exactly right. But John, you did a couple of things that I want to just call to the forefront if I can.
Okay.
First of all, your brand is valuable to you, the small business person. No question about it. But you did a couple of things that unfortunately, a lot of small businesses struggle with whether or not they're going to do if and when something like that happens, when somebody comes and literally attacks your brand,
Right.
and does so really for no reason.
Right.
And what you did is not run from it.
Right. We did not.
You didn't run from it. Now, you didn't have anything to run from.
Right.
Because you didn't do anything wrong.
That's right.
And the deal was done. It was already negotiated. It was done up front. Here's somebody coming back trying to change it.
That's right.
You say no to that, and somehow or another, they become the victim.
That's right.
And so, folks, as a lesson, and why I want to call that to the front is because a lot of people are so averse to dealing with a customer issue like that and isolating it to a customer issue.
Certainly. That's
all it was.
Certainly.
Even though despite that person's perhaps best efforts to cast a dispersion on your brand,
right,
you didn't allow that to happen because you were open about it. And I heard you say so many times people ask questions about it, which you addressed directly.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was up to them to make up their mind whether or not they wanted to continue on doing business with you.
Absolutely. I mean, and we had to do some things to prove that. We had to get letters of recommendation from, and I want to say we probably got 100 letters of recommendation from past customers.
Sure.
And the thing is, and I had to explain to them as well, that if this customer had any leg to stand on, they would have gotten a complaint against us filed at the Better Business Bureau level. I would send them the findings from the Better Business Bureau. They looked at the dates at which these people agreed, at which they made the complaint. If they had a leg to stand on, we would have either been sued for it, and when that too is public record.
Yep.
And or we would have had a complaint at the level of the local Better Business Bureau, which we did not.
Right.
And most often, our clients understood that, hey, any business that's doing any serious business out here, even Walmart gets complaints.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get them. There's no way
You're going to get them. But how you handle them,
that's everything,
makes the difference. And that's the point that we want to drive home. Your brand should be so valuable to you that you handle every single complaint, because it is devaluing your brand if you allow that to fester, if you allow that to stay out there, because it's what you hear from it's what you don't hear from the people who read that and say, you know what, I'm just going to do business someplace else.
That's right. Yeah, because oftentimes when something like that happens, you don't get the opportunity to salvage the business.
Absolutely.
Because they don't come and tell you, I'm uncomfortable because of this, this, and this.
Right.
And let me just tell you, folks, if a customer comes along to you and they tell you, listen, I just wanted you to know that I'm really uncomfortable with how this transaction went down. I'm really uncomfortable with how I was handled by your customer service, how I was handled on the phone. Let me tell you what, folks, that's golden. That's an opportunity. That is somebody who wants to continue to do business with you, and they're giving you a golden opportunity to make it right for them. Don't pass up those opportunities.
Totally agree.
Because a lot of times, folks, you don't get that opportunity, and so when you do get them, make sure you capitalize on it.
Absolutely. So you have two areas here.
Yep.
And if you will, Irv, we'll talk about both of them.
Sure.
The first is your personal brand.
Right.
The second is your corporate brand.
Right.
One does not exist independently of the other.
That's true.
And so many small business people think that it does.
That's right.
I can do things like come to work late, curse out my employees,
right?
Not be the manager that leads by example,
sure,
and then anticipate and expect that we're going to build a corporate brand that projects all of these things that we want to see projected in the marketplace.
Right.
That doesn't happen.
Right.
Your individual or personal corporate brand starts first.
Right.
If you are a business owner, if you're a manager, it's Me Inc.
Right. That's right.
And then Me Inc. is what resonates in the organization, and then everyone else picks up and follows that lead, and then that filters out into what is your corporate brand.
Yeah, but see, we call that a culture.
Absolutely.
Because that's internal.
That's right.
That's a culture. And the culture needs to support the brand.
Right.
Because when people, in fact, we've seen examples where the culture doesn't necessarily support the brand, and I'll give you an example.
Okay.
If you've watched any NBA basketball, you'll see where there are professional basketball teams, and this could be any professional sports team, where this team is known for it's excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And then a brawl breaks out.
Mm-hmm.
Or you find out that there were people inside the organization who were putting prices on people's heads, for example, in some other sports.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So basically you're talking about the Indiana Pacers, I think, from 2006, and then we're talking about and we're talking about last year's New Orleans Saints.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Or were we not saying names?
No, we wasn't saying names.
Okay, but all right.
But since it's Soapbox Friday, John just threw out some names. Now, I was carefully trying to tiptoe around that.
Okay.
But at any rate, here's some teams that were really known, branded for their excellence in their particular sport. And then, but internally, obviously, some sort of culture rose up.
That's right.
That didn't support that brand.
That's right.
And look at the disasters that happened following that.
Absolutely. It adversely affected those brands.
Absolutely adversely affected those brands. And guess what? Now it's showing up on the stat sheets.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it takes time to regain that footing that you had.
No doubt.
You know, it's funny how you can spend 100 years, and I'm being facetious here, but you can spend 100 years building a brand, and in one night,
that's right,
you can tear it all down.
That's right. In just a minute.
Yeah, so you have to protect that. When we come back, we're going to talk about your personal brand, your corporate brand, how they simultaneously exist, and the things that you have to do to support and promote and build both.
That's right, absolutely. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, and it's brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. You know, to have your small business featured on Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, you can call our business office at 832-460-2020 or contact us through our website at smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. More in a moment, right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle. Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff. Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is?
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan.
The storm's coming.
The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham Directed. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com. All right, welcome back to the show. If you have just joined in, we are talking about building your brand, and as a small business, how important and how valuable that brand should be to you. Basically, your brand is your reputation. Your brand is what you and your business are known for. Now, before we went to break, Irv and I were talking about that you have two brands that are working simultaneously with one another. You have your personal brand, your Me Inc., if you will. And that's the brand that you project in your organization that becomes contagious to your employees. It helps develop and define the culture inside of your organization. Right. And then you have the brand that you and your employees project out together. And that's the corporate brand. And that's how you're perceived through the marketplace. That's how you're perceived by your competition as well as your customer base. Now, Irv, I thought we just mentioned a few things that affect your brand.
No doubt.
The first thing that comes to mind is dress.
Yes.
Your attire.
Yes.
I think I am a proponent of being dressed for business. And that means if you run a plumbing company, I think there is a way that the people who work in that company should be dressed. I cannot stand seeing a small business. Remember, I say that there's nothing wrong with being a small business, but there's everything in the world with looking like a small business. Meaning that all of your plumbers should have shirts.
Right.
And the shirts should have the company name as well as their own name.
Yeah. Get your uniform.
Get a uniform.
Yeah.
You can't play any sport out here without being in the proper uniform.
That's right.
And your uniform should match the level of professionalism that you are trying to exude in your business. So dress, I think, is very important.
That's right. Well, I know it's important because, you know, I've been your partner and being out in the community and in the market with you. I get into trouble because I'm with the great John Cruz, and so I have to now make sure that I go out and keep all my. I've got to. Right now, I'm updating my whole wardrobe right now on account of this guy. But no, I'm teasing. He's very gracious, but he's dressed so well that I just hang out so I can get discounts. And,
well, I got to do that.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course
People
you do.
Expect me to look this
way.
way.
They expect you to look this way because that is the John Cruz brand.
That's the brand.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly the truth.
Yeah, and so I get that. I'm kind of muscling you about
no
that.
problem.
But, I do like the discounts, though.
Let's move to the next thing on the list. The next thing on the list are your actions. How you act define. I think the two biggest things that define your brand is how you look, how you act, and then thirdly would be how you speak. But
no doubt.
But at first it's going to be look. Appearances are everything in this world, and then how you act is going to be. They're going to expect that to be in accordance or equal to how you look.
It really should support how you look.
It has to.
Right.
And when I think of actions, that's more than just you as the business owner. It's how do your people act? I mean, you are treated such a way if you go into any Walmart. I was just in Costa Rica, as you know.
Yes.
I was over there doing some very, very tough research on Costa Rican fishing and tough work.
All right. Yeah, so of course.
And we happened to go into we were in San Jose, and we went into a Walmart there. And first of all, let me say that the Walmart was impeccable.
Wow.
You could eat off the floor.
That's awesome.
That's how clean it was. And do you know there was a person with a smock on, a blue smock, that said, "How may I help you?" but in Spanish. And as soon as we walked in, they asked us, "How may I help you? Do you need any assistance finding anything?" Now, that's building a brand.
No doubt.
So my thing is that no matter where you go in the world, when you walk into that business, it's always the same. The people are acting in accordance with the model that's set up by management.
That's right.
And it has to be that way in your business. Even if you're one branch strong, you never get to two branches until you do the things that are necessary.
Well, you got that right.
To be a top branch with that one.
That's right. And, you know, talking about that, one of the other points to this, John, is the quality of your work.
Absolutely.
Has to do with your brand. And it was really interesting, you talking about Me Inc. When I was a little kid, and perhaps most of us who had parents, my parents were from the country.
Right.
And so even though I grew up in the city, they had what we would call country values.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad would have me do chores around the house and so on. And I'll never forget being a little kid, I wanted to go out and play. I didn't want to do these chores. And so I kind of would, he'd tell me cut the grass. Well, I'd kind of haphazardly do it. And I'll never forget, he used to always ask me this question. He would come out, he would inspect my work, and he would say, "Son, is your name on that?"
Yeah.
And I would say, "What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
I just cut the grass."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, but is your name on that?" And I used to always just get really full of angst and frustration because I never could understand why he would always ask me, "Is my name on that?" Later, I came to appreciate what he was getting at was do quality work as if your name is going to go on it. Even if your name is not going to go on it,
Right.
You're the one who did it. And, here I am, as an old guy now, and I've never forgotten it because it's really been one of the keys that's contributed to my success in my career professionally and personally, because when I'm doing something, I think about that.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mean, that's a lesson that people have to learn. If your name is going to go on it, if it's going to be associated with you,
that's right.
The quality of work that you produce becomes now your brand.
That's exactly right.
So if you want something done right and you do work right,
that's right.
Then it's going to be the Irvin Hughes brand.
That's exactly right.
But if you cut grass like you're trying to, run a track meet and go and see some girl afterwards, then that also becomes your brand.
Yeah, well, that's why one of the reasons why this is another subject, but that's one of the reasons why I never believed that stuff about you become what you think about. Because I would have been a beer or a girl. So I didn't become either one of those. So I know I didn't become what I thought about.
So you're not what you think.
No, there's no way that's true.
Well, I tell you what, the next thing on the list, I think to follow in step with the quality of work that Irv just mentioned, are the people that you hire.
No doubt.
And these are the things that simultaneously that work for your personal brand as a manager or an entrepreneur, but then they also are migrated over to your corporate brand. And the people that you hire help to define what your reputation is and what you're known for in your organization. So you want to hire the right people.
That's exactly right. And then how you treat customers. And this was one of my soapboxes a few weeks ago.
Yes, it was.
Was what in the world ever happened to customer service? And the funny story about that, John, was we talked about a cell phone store.
Right.
And literally, I had another cell phone incident, but this time it was with my youngest son.
Mm-hmm.
And we go into the cell phone store. First thing he does is he asks about a particular accessory for his phone. He tells the guy in the store, says, "Well, what kind of phone do you have?" He tells him, and the guy literally had no idea what kind of phone that was, even though it was their brand phone.
Well, he didn't know his stock.
He didn't know anything about the products.
Wow.
And so now I'm standing there and I'm thinking, he's in trouble. Because I walk away because this.
You don't want to see someone get mangled.
No.
You're a coward like I am. When I know somebody's about to get it, I exit stage left.
Man. And so I saw my son's face, and I'm thinking, wow, this dude's like a 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo, and he probably wants to rip out your windpipe right about now. And so I just eased away from the situation because I'm thinking, man, this is not
last thing they need over there is a witness.
That's right. But yeah, how you treat customers. And the thing was, John, this guy made no effort whatsoever to help my son.
And that hurts your brand.
It hurts your brand.
You know what? As you talk about that, Irv, I think about your relationship with your customer and how many small business people don't know what that means.
Sure.
You want to be remembered. In this day and age, as much competition that exists out there in the marketplace, you have to do everything in your power to be unique.
That's right.
And to be remembered by your customer. And that calls for a relationship.
Right.
And if you don't know how to build a bridge to having a relationship, you can start with understanding their wants, their needs, what makes them tick, what's their name, and do something that they don't expect. Do a random act of kindness to be remembered as it relates to whatever your business is. You name it. But I guarantee whatever product or service that you provide, I can find it somewhere else else cheaper.
No doubt.
So with that being the case, you have to do something to build that relationship to make me want to spend whatever it is that you charge because I like doing business with you.
Because that is a value proposition.
Yes,
really.
it is. Absolutely.
It does increase your value, and branding absolutely can increase your value, no doubt.
Now let's go down to marketing and advertising.
Okay.
And I guess we could also say that sort of completes the trilogy because that is also it becomes your story, which equals your brand.
That's correct.
Now, and you and I talk about on the show all the time that marketing is not advertising and advertising is not marketing. These are two different things that they're two great tastes that work great together, as they used to say about the Reese's peanut butter cup. So your marketing and advertising becomes your brand. So you got to think about the level of excellence that some of these larger companies go through in terms of what they allow to be or how they allow their product or service to be advertised.
That's right.
You have to take that ownership over what you put out there as
well.
No
doubt. And what publications and what medium.
Absolutely.
They're going to allow their brand to be associated with.
Very much so.
And I'm reminded of this because of our magazine here, Small Business Today magazine. There are companies that that branding works both ways because of course here at Small Business Today we have our own brand, which is the magazine and the radio show. But I have to be honest, and maybe I shouldn't say it like this, but there are some businesses, some companies that would not fit well with our brand.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. I mean, let's just say we're on Blog Talk Radio. We have a little more liberty here.
Oh, of course.
So we're not going to allow a strip club to advertise. Yes, that's a small business. It's an entrepreneurship
and they would pay us.
And they would pay, but we're just not going to allow that sort of thing because it affects our brand.
The bottom line is it will affect our brand, and we're not going to take that kind of risk.
Certainly not.
That's right. So I don't know, man. I'm loving this branding conversation, man. I'm hoping everybody else will too. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by Ring Central. To get Ring Central's virtual PBX for your business, you can call them today at 888-716-5022. Stay with us. The education continues in a moment right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
excuse me, heavy news?
you know,
disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan. The storm's coming. The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking about building your brand, building your small business brand and the importance of it, how to protect it, and the things that you should do to advance and grow that brand.
That's right.
Now, Irv, I want to go back. I want to talk a little bit about the tools that are needed because, you know, when you think about a brand, a person automatically assumes, or at least I do, that it costs millions of dollars that have to be invested to building a brand. It has to be something that's done on a regional, national, or global level, and that could not be further from the truth as it relates to small business people. Your brand is everything, and even if your marketplace is a market of 300, 3,000, or 3 million, you have to do the things that the large companies do in terms of how they protect and promote their personal and corporate brands.
No doubt about it. And one of the big, I guess, opportunities that small business people have is they can do things to really augment their brand because they've got tools that didn't exist before.
That's right.
And you can build relationships with these tools that you couldn't readily use before. You can, you know, and you can keep in touch better than you ever could before.
Oh my goodness.
And you can get information from your prospective customers easier than you ever could before.
And they're more willing to give it than,
no doubt,
than
more,
ever before.
More willing. And you know, one of the keys as we're talking about tools for branding, do you ask? Do you ask? Do you ask the questions to your prospective customers, to your vendors, to your constituents, to your coworkers? Are you asking them questions about how you're doing, what they would like to see, why or why not? If you're doing something right, why is that working?
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, a lot of times, John, in building the brand, you might run across an instance where you're doing something really, really well, perhaps better than everyone else in the particular space, but then you don't inquire about, well, what's right about that? Why are you enjoying that? Why do you appreciate this particular product or service? What is it that we're doing right now that made you make the choice to buy and do business with us?
There are 3 things that you should always ask for as an entrepreneur. For more business.
No doubt.
For a referral.
Sure.
And how am I doing, or how can I be better?
Absolutely. And that's the thing that a lot of times small business owners shy away from because they're afraid that it's going to be something negative. But here's the thing. If you're asking because you're trying to build and protect your brand, whatever they tell you, whether it's positive or negative, you ultimately get to decide what you're going to do about it.
That's it.
That's it.
And that's really the key. You want an opportunity to be able to fix it. How many times have we done something in a personal relationship, Irv, that we come to regret, and all we want is the opportunity to make it up, opportunity to make it right.
That's right.
So, and it's the same thing in business. Mistakes are going to happen. Balls are going to be dropped. Calls are going to go unreturned.
Right.
Product is going to be delivered damaged, if delivered at all.
Yes, right.
All you want is an opportunity to make good on it.
That's right.
All right. Let's talk about the 3 things.
Okay.
The tools that you need. There are 3 of them that you have to have. And you have to have consistency and congruency between these 3 things. I'll do number 1.
Okay, go ahead.
The first one is your look.
No doubt.
The tools that you need to help build your brand is your look. We live in a visual world.
Right.
Face it. if you walk into a business meeting with a tattoo on your neck, and guys, if you have tattoos on your neck, please don't send me emails. You send a certain message.
Right.
That's all that I'm saying.
That's right.
So if you know that we live in a visual world where we automatically assume that we know everything there is to know about a person based on their appearances, then that is something that's within your control and that you should be controlling. So as you control the way you look, that goes down to the way your employees look,
right?
The way that your business card and your logo looks,
right?
The way your website looks,
right?
The way your social media campaigns look, the way your advertising and marketing campaigns look, the way your website looks.
Right.
There has to be congruency in between all of those things. That is your look, and that is the foundation of your brand.
All right. Let me jump in right here, John, because you touched on something that I think a lot of times people don't see the value in investing in these things. Your business card, folks, is usually the first piece of marketing collateral
Absolutely.
that somebody gets when they connect with you. Spend some money on some business cards. All right. I've done it both ways, and let me just tell you, the results are vastly different. You can spend $10 on a business card, or you can spend $100 on a business card, and don't tell me it's not a difference between a $10 business card and a $100.
Well, let me say this. Can I jump in right here?
Sure.
If you're one that has a $10 business card and you don't believe that there is a difference, then show me your financial statement.
That's right.
Because I guarantee you
That's
that your
right.
business is not performing to the level at which you want it to.
That's right.
So you really don't know what the difference is.
That's right.
Let someone tell you who has a good, solid financial statement.
That's right.
Get you $100. Pay $100 for some business cards.
That's right. And quite frankly, folks, I know there are some people who are going to listen to this, John, and say, I have never paid $100 for business cards because I'm a roofer, because I'm a landscaper, because I'm a this. That is irrelevant.
Yes, it is.
It's irrelevant what you do. We're talking about the quality of your brand and protecting your brand. And here's the point. Let me just put it out like this. When you hand somebody your business card, they ought to expect to pay some money.
Yes.
They ought to expect to pay a premium. Just it ought to set in their mind, well, I don't even know if I can afford this guy.
Right.
It ought to say that.
Right.
They're not going to say those words, but if it doesn't invoke that thought,
that's right.
You're probably selling yourself short.
Very much so. Very much so.
So that's what I would say. And the same thing goes for your website. Folks, your website can strike fear into a prospect or confidence, depending on how that thing looks.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
And you want to make sure you invest in both of those.
Well, number two, and I'll do number two since you finished so eloquently. Your message. We just talked about your look. These are the tools that you need to have to be consistent and congruent. Your look was number one. Your message is number two. Your mission and your advertising, marketing, and the story that you tell your clients all has to match your look.
Right.
So that means that if you look like a company that does great work, you should have the types of employees that look like they provide or do good work. Your advertising, marketing, and storytelling should be congruent with that. And your mission should say that this is a type of company that cares about its employees,
right,
and it cares even more so about the customer relationships that it has to have to be successful.
John, let's touch on storytelling.
Okay.
Because a lot of small businesses will say, well, I don't really have a story.
Yes, you do.
And you do have a story because that's how the business started.
That's right.
You might call it history. You might call it all the events that led up to where you are now. But the bottom line is you do have a story.
Yes, you do.
And you do need to craft it. Notice I didn't say draft it.
Yes.
You need to craft it.
Right.
All right. I'm not saying say things that aren't true.
Yeah, you don't say you're a Navy SEAL and you're SEAL Team 8 and that's lying. That's drafting.
Yeah, that's drafting. We're saying be sure you craft the message of your story so that it will be clear, concise, and it can be consistent across.
And Irv and I can help you do that, by the way, if you need some assistance.
Oh, absolutely, and we'll be happy to do so. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by GrowSocial.com. Maximize social media like Facebook and Twitter for your business. You can call Grow Social at 877-484-3961. Stay with us, folks. We're in the home stretch. We'll be back right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market,
And this alternative is...
coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan, the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham Circuit. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
All right, welcome back to the show. Irv and I have been talking today about building your small business brand, and we were down to the part of the show where we're talking about the 3 categories or the 3 tools that you need to build your brand. Number 1 was your look, because we are in a visual world. We are a world of appearances. Your look is everything. What I see is what I perceive, is what I believe. So your look is important. Number 2 is your message. Your message has to be consistent with what your look is. And then that brings us to number 3.
Number 3, performance.
What do you mean performance?
Performance. You got to do what you said you were going to do and then do more than that was expected.
And that's really the truth. That is really the truth.
You have got to do what you said you were going to do, and then you've got to do more than was expected.
So then what you're saying, Irv, is I have to look like I'm going to do something good.
That's right.
I have to have the message that I'm going to do something good.
That's right.
And then I have to also follow through and do something good.
And that's performance. And then you got to do it better than it was expected.
And that, my friends, is how you build your small business brand. It's what you do. And and doing is the most important part.
That is exactly right. And then perhaps a secondary to that is when something goes wrong, folks, with your performance, when your quality of work doesn't even measure up to your own standards, ask for the opportunity to make it right.
That's it.
Ask for the opportunity to make it right. Don't let it go. Don't let, so many times you have opportunities to really build a customer relationship. And folks, make sure if it doesn't go like you want it, make sure you ask for the opportunity to make it right, because that'll be part of your brand and you'll get known for that.
Have I mentioned lately how much I love doing this show with you?
You did, and I thank you for that, but you know what? I think I love doing it more.
Man, this is the icing on the cake. Guys,
Good
we want to thank you for listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. So until next week, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you next week.
Go Texans.
Always.
5-0.